Canute recounts the pivotal moment when Askeladd revealed his true identity and beheaded King Sweyn. Sweyn's death marked the end of Danish dominion over England in 1014. Fast forward to the present, Canute has taken over the Danish Viking army in England, but the war for the English throne rages on. Ethelred too has returned from exile in Normandy and is now vying for the crown against Canute. Both proclaim themselves as the rightful king of England, intensifying the battle for power. Canute and Gunnar arrive in Mercia to find the region devastated and struggling to recover. As they survey the area, Gunnar comments on the severity of the situation, but Canute reminds him that they were involved in causing this destruction. As they come across some camps and soldiers, Gunnar explains that they are a part of the Danish advance force that conquered the region. However, Canute is troubled to learn that the soldiers have been pillaging and taking girls from beggars to sell. He immediately orders Gunnar to have them beheaded and display their heads on the road. Gunnar is surprised, as pillaging is a common military custom, but Canute makes it clear that such behavior is unacceptable and demonstrates a lack of discipline. Canute emphasizes that he will not tolerate soldiers who cannot maintain discipline, and orders Gunnar to carry out the executions. Canute meets with Floki to confirm the arrangements for their upcoming meeting with Earl Edric of Mercia. While Floki notes that Edric is not worth meeting and that he could have handled the matter, Canute insists on meeting him to judge for himself. Canute also reveals that there is another reason why he came. However, before he can explain further, Thorkel charges at him, yelling his name. Canute realizes that Thorkel is too much for Floki and his men, and orders them to let him come closer. Thorkel expresses his dislike of anyone who stops his battles, and Canute explains that Mercia has requested a truce, and their victory is certain. However, Thorkel insists on taking Edric's head, and declares that he will go wherever he pleases and fight whoever he chooses. Floki tries to convince Thorkel to assist Ethelred's son, Edmund, in the east, but Thorkel disregards his suggestion. Thorkel warns Canute that he is still nobody and will have to carve his path with blood and iron, just like Askeladd did. Despite Thorkel's offensive behavior, Canute values his warning and realizes that he must prepare for war. Canute is meeting with Gunnar and Floki when he receives an unexpected visit from Edric, a Mercian noble. Edric has come to offer Canute a bribe, 4,000 pounds of silver, with the promise of another 4,000 if Canute withdraws his forces from Mercia. Canute, however, is not impressed. He looks at the silver and declares that it's not enough. He tells Edric to think carefully about what he's saying, reminding him that he's the king and that Edric is trying to pay him to leave his own territory, a sum that's an insult to a king. Edric's son, who's been listening in, blurts out that Ethelred is their king. But Edric shuts him up and tries to salvage the situation, saying that Ethelred will understand if they explain the situation. Canute, however, is skeptical. He wonders aloud if Ethelred has given Edric permission to make this offer. Edric insists that he's acting on his own, but Canute senses an opportunity. He tells Edric that he or Ethelred needs to die, and that Ethelred is a coward who abandoned his people and thrown to flee into exile during the previous war. Canute finds it foolish to trust the future of England to such a man. Edric is taken aback by this bold claim, but Canute presses on. He tells Edric that he already betrayed Ethelred, and that he knows a good way to get rid of him. In exchange, Edric will keep Mercia. Edric is angry and refuses, calling off the truce. Canute, undeterred, turns to Floki and tells him that Edric isn't a coward, but Floki has an idea to test his bravery. Canute challenges Edric to come outside with him, and Edric, feeling his honor at stake, accepts the challenge. Canute and Edric are standing outside, watching as dozens of signal fires light up the night sky. Canute tells Edric that this is what it means to go to war against him, to imagine Mercia being reduced to ash. Edric is shocked at the scale of Canute's power, but he still resists. Canute tells him to buy peace by offering him Ethelred's head, as that is the smart choice. The scene cuts to the following year, April of 1016, when King Ethelred II of England dies of an illness. His son, Edmund, assumes the throne and causes troubles for Canute in their ongoing war. But just 7 months later, Edmund also dies of an illness, leaving the way open for Canute to seize power. Ásgeir notes that King Sweyn, Canute's father, took 10 years to conquer the nation, but this time it ended in less than 3 years. Canute is soon recognized as Bretwalda, the overlord of all England, and a coronation is planned for the following year. However, not everyone is thrilled about Canute's rise to power. Thorkel, a member of Canute's entourage, grumbles that he's sick of hearing about Canute and his accomplishments, it's ruining his beer. But for Canute and his supporters, this is a moment of triumph. Thanks to the unnatural deaths of his rivals, in the year 1018, Canute officially becomes King of England. And with that, We conclude this episode.